Welcome back to Ribbon Candy Hooking. I'm Deanna. It is December. It is time for stuff like this and stuff like this. So I got interested in this whole rag rug tree thing and the idea of doing different kinds of rag rug trees because God knows we are involved in a craft where we have a lot of rags. We are thrifty people. And I found these amazing 13-inch and 16-inch trees, right? And they make you tie rags onto them. Rags. We have wool, tons of wool strips, and you make a tree, and then you put them into a stand like this. One side is cedar, and the other's more natural color. I think I'm going to actually prime them all to be kind of like a chalk paint green, right? So they look a bit more foresty. I think the material, like the wood, is going to take it really well. But I just want to experiment before I get started with that. This is the small size 13 and 16. You know, I was thinking about rags because the last thing I want to do with a rag rug tree is use new materials. That kind of defeats the purpose, and it seems a little bit silly. So I was thinking about all of the bags of braided wool sort of Cinnabons that I have collected over the years and how I never do anything with them because I'm not a huge fan of braiding at this moment. And I thought, oh, let me just pull out some of the nice folky colors I have and see how this goes. And I was just experimenting with, and I will come back to you when I'm further along, but I was experimenting with some of these braids because these are nice, this is nice supply stuff, and I just don't use it. And I was just experimenting with the way that you are supposed to tie the thing, right? And it seems to work best. It's what you want to do is make slip knots, a bunch of slip knots. And the question will become from tree to tree, how wide and how long will your slip knots be? Do you want to use quilt fabric? Do you want to use like old ginghams and plaids and checks and country fabrics? Or do you want to use your leftover wool stuff? Do you want to use actual wool strips? Regardless, it makes the most sense to make the slip knot like this. So in other words, I have it upside down. I've got the loop here, the fold here, and I'm just running the tails through it. And then I think it's going to be, I'm just experimenting with this for the first time too. You're going to have to play on the back, but it's going to be a case of fooling with it until your slip knot looks good in the front, right? And it's going to be different from knot to knot. I'm probably going to want to put more than one knot here to cover that little top part. And I might not want even, I want it from one side, right? Because once I start putting multiple pieces of wool into that hole, it's going to get crowded fast, right? So I'm going to probably have it on my mantle where you see it, looking like this with a bunch coming down. Let's see, this is the piece that I use. That's the companion to it. Let's go for another piece that's a little bit green. Maybe this one. Yeah, maybe this one. Maybe... Oh, decisions. This is what I am the worst. Maybe this one, because it's a bit textured. So from what I saw, the best sort of size for length was about 6 inches folded, so 12 inches, something like that. You can always trim it back, right? Once it's trimmed and it's not working, that's a different problem. Let me see if this works. Now, this is a much thicker piece. I'm probably going to want to trim it down. Let me trim it down just a little bit. That's the good thing about these braiding coils. If you already have tons of these, or you inherited some, or somebody in your neighborhood was a big braider and you got a hold of them and you thought, oh, very, very good, but not really using them and I don't tend to reach for them for my hooking projects, maybe this is the very project, right? So again, I'm coming up in the back, and I think for this little top one, 2 is kind of the maximum that I'm going to get going. Got my knot through. And it's all fiddles. It's all fiddles. You're just putting the tails through, and each piece of wool is going to feel really different too. And then you make your slip knot, and then infinite fooling until it looks right. And I think I'm going to do, ooh, that is going to look pretty. But I got to get it right side up. Got to get it right in the right position. There we go. And yeah, fooling is the order of the day. You want to get it, the knot part looking just right, and you're going to have to adjust the front and the back. Get the tails, ooh, that's better. Get the tails going like that. Oh, I quite like that, actually. I quite like that. My plan is to fill, oh, that looks very pretty, the plan is to fit, and you can do stuff like this too once you have it on, right? This is a no-sew project. This is just cutting materials project. I could see even getting one small one right in the middle there. What do you think? Maybe I will. Maybe let's do one more little guy in the middle. Let's try him. I'm going to make a skinny piece, but I'm going to stick with, this was actually longer than I think we needed. Maybe we didn't need it quite that long. This is the kind of experimenting that I think you need to do, you know, with your tree, because there are two different sizes. Now that might be too small, but let's see. I found just in the 5 seconds I played with it before we started the camera going, I found that it was best to do it upside down and from behind for me. I can see using a little pokey tool here too, right? Scissors work. So you can pull through. Let me see if I can get one more guy. I think I made this one too short. Just putting the tails through the slip knot, and then I'm gonna slip it. There we go. And more fooling, more infinite fooling. And I could see, you know, you're gonna be working this for quite a while. It's not like you're gonna do this in 5 minutes and go, here you go, Merry Christmas. It's gonna take, it's gonna take some time to get the length of the tails right. You have to also include the measurement of your OCD in this project, because, you know, and also things like, do you want the tails to be diagonal or flat across, or have that in the middle, right? It really depends, but I'm going to keep going like this. I don't know. I think I plan to kind of cover the tree. I don't know that I want to make it green. What do you think, Jay?
I don't know. It could look good like that.
I think I might leave it, because I'm pretty sure everybody knows what chalk paint is, and I'm not sure everyone wants a green tree.
Yeah, I'd leave them. Leave them natural.
Yeah. Well, what we will do, I really like that. I really like that. Of course, alternately, you could have done one really thick one on the top. I really needed to have at least 3 different prints, starting right at the tippity top. It might be that at the end I put some kind of a pin, like a costume pin at the top of it, something like that. Well, I'm going to work on it, and when I come back to you, I will have filled out the tree. But I'm going to start putting these up on the website. I will figure out what an extraordinary amount of wool, like from these coils, would be this color palette, right? Classic folk color palette. I'll figure out, I will trim it for you, make it really nice for you, and cut the width that I find I'm using myself most easily with these prototypes. And I'll put like twice as much wool into kits if you want to get this product as a kit and not just as the wooden trees, right? It'll be available as both, just 2 wooden trees or 2 wooden trees as a kit with wool. And if so, I will figure it out, and there will always be, as with all of my kits, tons and tons and tons of extra, so you can make choices as you go along. Next time you see me, and it's probably going to be a while, because you see the way that I fool with every knot, this tree is going to be done. So let's get started working on the knots together. So as I've got this bottom row going, just to give you the math, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 on one side. This is the smaller 13-inch tree. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 squeezed in on this side. And if you can see, I've got 2 on the actual edges, right? Tied like that, as I did a little bit earlier. And what I'm doing is I'm putting it through just on the side, and then I'm catching it here. And it gives a little bit of fullness to the side, so it hides the edge of the tree. So it's just a question of getting as many strips in as you can fit, right? Making it work that way. Trimming it as I go, according to the height. And I am going to be a sneaky little skunk and put some across here as well. They're meant to go here and here, but I don't see why I shouldn't put a couple across these long bars as well, because it's going to mask that wood, right? If I just sneak a few more in and give the tree a little more body. You do you, but I'm going to put the more the merrier kind of philosophy into my tree. Stop. So you can see I'm working my way up, right? I'm starting upside down and working up. And you can see I'm doing some sneakies. Like I stretched across here with 2 each, which gave me these here that are stretching across the big part, just making a little more weight. And I even stretched one right here. And I think I'm liking that. This is how I'm doing it. I'm going to do a second one here. I squeezed it into the hole right here, right in with the others. It is a tight squeeze. And then I'm just doing some little short ends like this, just to kind of hide. And then you work it and fool with it a little bit. But just, and I can trim them later, but just to kind of hide, you know, I want to hide as much of the wood as I can. So if I have some more sneaky deakies under there, I can do stuff like this, you know, and just get a little more color and fullness at the bottom of the tree. Stop. So I am finishing up my tree. I'm really happy. I'm very happy with this tree. You can see I've got yet to do the top. But the key for me with this tree is really just filling it out. Like I've overfilled it. And for me, less is never more. More is more. More is better. So this is what it looks like on the front. And I will put, if you end up getting this as a kit, I'll figure out how much of these different colors, and I'll cut it for you to the right widths, right? We'll figure all that out in the description. But I'll show you a key to the back and how many I did in each area. It looks like I could do one more little one there too, right? I didn't need to because it's full there, but maybe I'll do one. You see that? Maybe I'll do one more. But you can see it hasn't relaxed at all because this has all been balled up for dog's ears. But I'm just unrolling it now and making little decisions like this to how it lays as we go. I'm going to put the last ones on here, and then I'll decide if I want to put a pretty pin or something, you know, at the top of it. I'm going to probably go around quite a few times, to tell you the truth. Maybe I'll go around the edges here just to keep the sides covered up. But the project is going really well. I have to say, I am super, super, super loving this. I hope that if you end up getting this kit, that you have fun ragging it up, and that you do as good of a job as I feel very modestly that I have done here. So yeah, with lots of tips and hints to how I got from point A to point B. This is an excellent project with your scraps or with my scraps. Doesn't matter to me. But what a fun thing for the mantle. I will see you next time at Ribbon Candy Hooking.